Following on with our theme of fairy tales, this week's fairy tale is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Once upon a time, there lived a princess named Snow White. Her hair was as black as coal, lips as red as a rose, and her skin as white as snow. Snow White's stepmother, the queen, was very mean. She hated anyone who was more beautiful than her. Do you think that you should hate people for how they look if they're better than you? No, you should congratulate them, right? You should be proud of other people's positives and think of your own. The queen had a magic mirror and asked it, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?" Every day the mirror had the same answer. "You, my queen, you are the fairest." One day the magic mirror told the queen that Snow White was now the fairest in the land. This made the queen very jealous. The queen told her royal huntsman to take Snow White far into the forest and to kill her. The queen told the huntsman to bring back Snow White's heart as proof she was dead. The huntsman found Snow White but could not kill her. He felt guilty. She was just a young girl after all. He warned Snow White that the queen wanted her dead and told Snow White to run away. Snow White ran to the forest. The huntsman lied to the queen and took a heart from a pig and gave it to the queen. She was very happy. Snow White came to a cottage and wondered who lived there. Do you know who lives there? 7 dwarves lived in the cottage. They returned to the cottage from work and introduced themselves to Snow White. There was Sleepy, who was always tired. Grumpy, who always had a grumpy face and was angry all the time. At first he disliked Snow White, but he grew to love her. Happy, of course, always happy. Doc, an intelligent dwarf who ran the dwarves' lives, didn't rule their lives, but he ran them and gave them discipline and gave them good ways to follow. Dopey, of course he was very silly. Sneezy, who of course sneezed all the time. Achoo! I think he had hay fever. And Bashful, who was very shy. Snow White felt safe with the dwarves, so she decided to stay with them. The queen soon found out that the huntsman had lied after asking the mirror again who was the fairest, and the answer being Snow White. She mixed a potion that changed her into an old hag, and she poisoned an apple to give to Snow White. She went to the cottage and asked Snow White if she would like to have the apple. Snow White, of course, did not know it was the queen, and she took a bite from the poisoned apple and fell asleep. The queen was hoping that she would die. The sad dwarfs built a beautiful bed for Snow White and lay her to rest. One day a handsome prince rode into the forest. He saw Snow White and instantly fell in love with her. He knelt down and kissed her. The quick kiss awakened Snow White from her deep sleep. The prince and Snow White rode off to the prince's kingdom, where they lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed the story.